This is Mongolian Mindset, and today we're going to be responding to Echo Blue. Great video. If I may ask, can you please type Chance Crawford, Anthony Starr, Jesse T. Usher, all from the Boy series, and Michael B. Jordan from the Creed franchise. Thanks in advance. Okay, so you got a lot of them here, so I'm just going to choose the one that I like the most. I'm going to take Michael B. Jordan. We don't have him on the list, and he's pretty popular, so let's get into it. I Sworn Enemy. Personality Database has Michael B. Jordan as an ESFP. Okay, that's interesting. I haven't watched the Creed movies or anything, but I know he is from Killmonger from Black Panther. But we'll get into it today. We'll see. You guys know we use Linda Barrens metrics, temperament and interaction styles combined with cognitive functions. And we will narrow it down and figure out exactly what his personality type really is. He can't hide from Mongolian Mindset. We will find you. If you are a closet introvert out here hiding out, we will find you, okay? Just like we find all the other ones. Mia Khalifa, Beyonce, we will find you, INTJs, if that's you. Trying to hide like you extrovert. But, let's get into it. The chart here for ESFPs, are informative. They are initiating, so they like to cut people off and whatnot. They like to change the subject. With initiating and informative, you'll notice that very quickly. It's also pragmatic, so they tend to break rules. They're contrarians. They like to be independent. They like freedom to choose. Also with the ESFP, they're concrete, so they think about the what is and not the what if. They don't care really much about what's possible. They care about what's grounded in reality. They are TFI users, so they're going to be talking about achievements, who they are as a person, their morals, their values, TE perspectives, outside thinking, and they're SENI, so they're aware of their future as limited as it is as an ESFP. And they're going to be talking about what other people are doing, like left and right. Okay, so we're going to figure out today. The big thing that we'll be looking for is informative language. ESFPs are informative language. So we noticed that Michael B. Jordan is informative. Hey, it could be ESFP. We're going to go from there. But if he comes off the wreck, ESFP is automatically disqualified. So let's get into this. And you guys know that 40% of our viewers are not subscribed. So if you guys could please subscribe. That helps us grow the channel. It helps us grow the group. And Mongolian Mindset is all about empowering ourselves. It's not about me. It's all about everyone else. You are as strong as your weakest link. So please subscribe and like and comment. Please join our Facebook group. We are still doing free typing sessions. All you have to do is message Cody, our moderator, with your availability, and we'll try to get that done. Most people are charging $500 to $100 for typing sessions. We're doing it for free. So get that while you can. But let's get into this.
Thank you so much for watching. This conversation is brought to you by our friends at HBO Max. Stream all your favorites at hbomax.com.
After all these years, going back to where it all started.
Gotta rank the sports movies. Oh, that's tough. In order?
Yes, because
Okay.
So one of the reasons I was really excited to do this is because obviously I'm combining two of my favorite things, sports and movies.
Okay,
so visually, in the comments, please drop what you think he is. Just looking at him. Just looking at him. Seems to be well put together. I don't see any SE trickster here. So I would eliminate INTP, INFP. Seems to be well put together. He looks probably an entj, SP. Probably one of the two.
So we have to start there with your top 5 sports movies. And they have to be in order.
Oh, that's tough. In order?
Yes, because the cop out is just to say them all. You got to rank the sports
movies. I got to rank the sports movies. Okay. I'm going with number 1. Oh, man. White Man Can't Jump.
Great start.
Number 2, I'm going to go with Any Given Sunday. 3, I'm going with Sandlot. 4, I'm gonna go with Remember the Titans. And 5, I'm gonna go with Hardball. Bias.
Yeah, gotta pick Hardball.
Yeah.
There is a big one missing, but this is all opinion. There was no He Got Game.
Oh man, yes.
Yeah, see, I'm gonna save you there. There's no He Got Game.
He Got Game, yes. All right, well, I'll swap Remember the Titans and He Got Game.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, are you missing any other big ones? I mean, are you like a Major League? Are you a Jerry Maguire? Are you any of...
They don't really rank. I was going to say Space Jam 1.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just as a straight classic. But I don't know. Field of Dreams was, that counts, right?
Yeah, that counts.
Yeah.
Such an unrealistic plot.
Mighty Ducks.
Mighty Ducks.
Mighty
There's
Ducks
too
is a good
many.
one. Yes.
But your list is solid, so I'll take that. I mean, start there. And yeah, you passed that test. You started with a really good one. White Men Can Jump. You have to.
Okay.
You have to begin with that, and you put He Got Game in there, so it all worked out.
Okay.
But you were, of course, on Friday Night Lights. You did a sports TV show.
Mm-hmm.
What do you like doing better, TV shows or movies?
I think that's a good question. I think it evolved over time. I used to enjoy doing television because it gave the actor time to develop and grow the character. It gave time for the audience to actually fall in love with the character. Like, I don't know how much like sympathy and empathy you would have for like Wallace on the Wire if it was only like one episode, you know, rather than, you know, an entire season. To be able to kind of like really like make his death that much more tragic and meaningful.
Yeah.
You know? And then I think there was a time where I didn't know if I could open a film or carry a movie. You know, was I a leading man? So like Fruitville kind of.
Okay, I didn't know. I'm gonna put that for T.I. He's gonna put T.I. right now.
Answered a lot of those questions for me at a younger age, and I enjoyed, you know, a beginning and an end. You know, I kind of know where I'm going, so I can arc a character out. I could actually like.
I know where I'm going, and I can arc a character out. That seems to be outcome. It seems to be knowing the outcome there. Okay, so full point for outcome. You're not talking about the journey there, just the end product.
Be intentional with my choices, knowing where I'm gonna go. In TV,
See?
you don't really know
Knowing where I'm gonna go, knowing the outcome.
where the next season is gonna take you. You don't know what's really gonna happen with your character. So you're in the moment. So I think it's just a different muscle and a want. And I think now at this age, you know, you're looking for, you know, the best material. If it's a character that's really rich and interesting, I might want more time.
I think that movies leave you feeling satisfied, but there's something very intimate about television shows because you're almost inviting those people into your home, right? Like every single week on Wednesday or whatever the day is, I'm hanging out with these people and I feel like I know them. And
Exactly.
there is more of a connection there, but I don't know if you always feel as full. So there's something nice about having this full character that's in a movie.
Yeah.
You said something interesting, talking about when you were doing Fruitvale Station. You said that you would ask yourself, am I a leading man? When did you get that definitive answer that you were a leading man, and how long did you struggle with that question?
That's a good question. I think that on paper answered the question with, you know, the success that movie had. I think probably Creed 1 for me really kind of resonated a bit more. I think there's a lot of like an imposter syndrome that followed during that time of figuring out, you know, your place in the industry, your place in, you know, the movie business, where you transitioning from TV to film, you know, at a time where there was a shift in like what was acceptable, you know? And yeah, you just, you know, having faith in what you're doing. But I think after Creed 1, it started to really like sit in, and then like your family and your close friends, they you know, having to remind you of where you are. I used to like try.
He's dropping that word "you" way too much. He's dropping the word "you" way too much. Usually, when people are dropping the word "you," that's usually attached to "se." You. So we're gonna put "se" down for him. "Se" and I. Okay. He's looking like a TI "se" and I user. So we might be looking at a NFJ or STP.
You know, I don't believe my own hype. I don't, drink my own Kool-Aid a little bit. I just, I like doing the work and, and trying to be the.
So he's not bragging about his achievements or accomplishments. That's more of a TI thing. They're more modest about their achievements or whatever. But T users like to brag. They like to show that I've accomplished this. I've done this. I'm this great person. I'm this great this. I've done this movie. He's like, I'm not drinking my own Kool-Aid. It is what it is. I keep
best
working.
Version of myself.
So there's this this quote. It's by this Greek writer named Nikos, and he said, "I once saw a bee drown in honey, and I understood." And that's kind of what I think about when you hear you say, I was just trying to make sure I stayed level, and there was all this like goodness around me. There's certain people telling me about all this goodness around me, but I don't want to be overpowered by that. But I'm sure that also though is a struggle in itself too. It's
a balance between like owning your blessings and your success and the path that you've been on and the things that you went through to get what you have, and remembering where they came from. I think when you're living in your purpose and
okay, so he's talking about the path that he's on. That'd be the SC. Go back, check that out.
Is a struggle in itself too.
It's a balance between like owning your blessings and your success and the path that you've been on,
the path
and the things that you went through to get what you have, and remembering where they came from. I think when you're living in your purpose and you're blessed enough to feel like what you're doing every day is something that you're supposed to be doing, that's a blessing. You got to live in that, and all the other things around it start to make it complicated. And but I think the success and stuff just magnifies who you really are.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this Hollywood thing's a monster. You see, people.
You see. That's SE. This guy is an SENI user. Come on.
It's undefeated.
Yeah. It's I think it's easy to get caught up in things you probably shouldn't be caught up in. But one of the great things about you, and I mean this, I have never heard anyone say anything other than the fact that you are the nicest human being.
I'll take that.
Yeah, like everyone just talks about
you're the nicest human being. So that's looking like he's an FE user.
Smile and how kind you are, and that you're just genuine. And I think that shows with things like what you're working on now, like the Invesco QQQ Legacy Classic, which is going to highlight HBCUs. When I think about that title, though, obviously what sticks out to me is the legacy part of it. And I want to talk about HBCUs, but I want to talk a little bit about you two first, because I know you've done a lot of HBCU talking already. But how often do you think about legacy?
All the time. I think about legacy a lot. When you think about things you want to be a part of, and not just a flash in the pan, something that's going to stand the test of time, that's going to be around longer than my physical body is. Life's short. So you think about how you want to be remembered.
All right, I'm done with that. This guy's direct, okay? ESFP is already eliminated. This guy's direct, okay? Based off that, he can't be ESFP because looking at the chart, ESFPs are informative. So, yeah, he's specific, concise, and to the point. He's not giving really much extra information and whatnot. So I feel pretty confident saying that he is a direct person. So that leaves open INFJ, ENFJ, INTJ, ENTJ, ISTJ, ESTJ, ISTP, and ESTP. And we're picking up, we already got 3 points for SENI, so looks like he's an SENI user, so that will eliminate ISFJ and ESTJ. So it'll be down to INFJ, ENFJ, INTJ, no, not INTJ, well, yeah. All of the SE users here. But it's looking like he's also a TI user, TIFE. So that will knock us down to the NFJs and STP. Interesting. Let's see where this goes from here. But we're not gonna segment that yet.
Who did I help? Who did I put on? Who did I
help? Oh shit.
You said something in the interview.
That's another interview. We can go back to that. We'll go back. We'll use that one over there.
I think probably D1 schools that, obviously classic. It was an opportunity for me to really try nudge in the right direction so they can achieve their dreams. You know, there's that.
He's talking about helping people, not the FE. So, just looking at this guy's TIFE.
Like those are things that I think about, a lot. And so, with Invesco QQQ and the Legacy Classic, it was an opportunity for me to really try to pay it forward and open up the platform and the space for these, HBCUs that's been overlooked for such a long time, especially in the sports, field, losing, top prospects, year after year to like these bigger D1 schools.
Losing top prospects year after year to these big D1 schools, that's the outcome.
Schools that, obviously, the goal, for a lot of these athletes is, to get to the league. So to be able to make HBCUs or help put them in a position to be destination points.
Helping, FE again, he has an outcome to make them destination points.
I think was part of the way of thinking when it came to putting together this one.
Yeah. I actually remember seeing an interview where you said that your greatest fear was being forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
Is that so true?
Yes.
Okay, elaborate.
It came from
That's more of an SE type thing, being forgotten.
A personal place, I guess. It was one of my partner's birthday who passed away when I was younger, and it was the day after his birthday, and I had forgot that it was his birthday. And that feeling, I was like, oh man, okay, yeah, life's crazy right now, ripping and running all over the place. And it was a moment of like, wow.
Life's crazy, ripping and running all over the place, outcome. He's not talking about the progression.
If I had a moment where I forgot that was his birthday, and first time that's ever happened, that feeling of, and that realization of, mortality, and people move on and life goes on, and people might forget about you in moments of time. Doesn't mean that you're not important. Doesn't mean that the love or that bond or that relationship wasn't there. It just, there's the reality of that. So that fear is something that I think in moments pushes you to, to make your life worth it, to make every moment count, to leave something behind.
Make every moment count, that's SE. So, you do reckon he's SE and I. With that being said, that eliminate ESTJ and ISTJ are both eliminated. We're looking at a ESTP, ISTP, ENTJ, INTJ, ENFJ, and INFJ. That's what we're looking at right now because he's an SENI user. If you notice, he's talking from a third person perspective. He's representing other people and stuff. He's not coming from a first person. He's not talking about I did this, I did that, type of mentality. So he's the SENI user.
That you could be proud of, that other people could look to and be, inspired by.
Other people can look to and be inspired by. That's SE.
Yeah, I think that those are So that it's good.
Yeah.
Good one.
Claire Underwood, great television character, played by Robin Wright Penn. In an episode, she said, "I don't want to be famous. I want to be significant." And I was like, there actually is like this small difference to that. And I think that what you're describing is significance. That you want like you being here to mean something like much bigger than the fact that I was this famous movie star.
Yeah.
But like there was this change to that, right? And there's something that is going to last forever and leave a bigger impact. And I think that does start with things like this Legacy Classic with Invesco QQQ. So I love that. HBCUs specifically, you touched on why they are important. Do you feel a cultural shift happening with HBCUs?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think it's the right climate. All the stars are just, aligning in the right way where it's having a real moment. And you can't let it pass you by. You have to like harness this energy and momentum.
Yeah.
And keep it moving in the right direction. And I feel like knowing where you came from, knowing what's available to you, what's in support of you.
SE.
think we naturally started to gravitate towards that. And, you know, the importance of the next generation, of how they're taught, what they understand, what they know about themselves.
Talking about what other people understand, that's T.
That sense of pride is going to be very, very crucial and important to our future leaders, you know, and to see these young people.
He's really talking about building people up. He's really talking about building people up in the next future and whatnot. That seems more like an ESTP, ISTP, ENFJ, INFJ type of thing. That does not sound like an ENTJ or INTJ thing. They can do that, but that's not really their main focus, is to build character and morals and build people up to be better people. That's really not their thing, but yeah.
People out here, so strong, outspoken, you know, in the thick of it. It was very inspiring, and it allowed me to, I don't know, it was a moment in time that, you know, you hear stories of, like, you know, your grandmother and your mom and all these other things having their moment, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You hear these stories of your grandma, but fucking see this guy.
And it seems so,
Ooh, the old stories. Yeah, I love them.
so old.
Yeah.
No, and when it comes around and just look at you right in the face, like, oh, this is our time.
Yeah.
For that. Okay, I get that. You know, and that's a real.
It's our time. Okay, I get that. Ti. Okay, he's TIF. He uses ENTJ and INTJ or eliminate. He's an ESTP, ISTP, ENFJ or INFJ.
You know, moment. So
Yeah.
it was cool.
So I want to read this quote and these stats that I saw about HBCUs because, yes, they are so important to us, but HBCUs really are vital to America. So Black colleges account for just 3% of the four-year nonprofit colleges. Their alumni, though, account for roughly 80% of Black judges, 50% of Black lawyers and doctors. Their students account for 25% of Black undergrads.
Okay, she's just reading outcomes. That woman right there is just reading outcomes.
Earn degrees in STEM. So that's important for myriad reasons, but
Yes.
you need Black doctors, right?
1000%.
Because you need people that understand us, right?
100%.
And the more that you have Black people in these positions, the more you can close certain disparities. So HBCUs really are like
She's talking about pure outcomes, and she's coming off the rec, looking like she's either. I haven't looked more into it, but she's looking like an ESTJ or ENTJ.
order that is keeping us running in a lot of spaces, and that is so important. But I do think the most important thing about HBCUs existing is that you're never the only Black person. You are
You
always
are never the only Black person. Outcome.
around people that just like innately understand you, right? They get the same jokes, right? They feel the same way when we are
End product, shut up.
scrolling on our phones and seeing Black people dying every day. And it's important to have that sense of community. Because so I went to a PWI, that's predominantly white institution. If nobody knows, loved my school, had a great time. But there were so many times I was the only Black person in a classroom. And that has continued
All right, so she's talking about her own experience here. So it might be ESTJ here.
more in my life, being the only Black person in many rooms. And I'm sure it has happened to you too. Is there a time that you really remember, like, wow, I am the only Black person in this room?
I mean, I think the sad part of the answer is that, you know, it's been that way for such a long time, you can't remember the first.
100%.
You know, but it's a, look, I think we naturally have become chameleons, you know, to adapt to our environment.
He's not using outside sources at all. This guy's TIF he uses. He's not talking about studies, he's not talking about quotes, he's not talking about anything. It's pretty much his thinking. That's pretty much it. That's what he is. He's a TIF user.
You know, from code switching to whatever, right? Like those are the tools that at a young age you learn to kind of navigate at a certain point. I think I've always had the mindset, you know, through my parents, you know, of just being aware and never letting that influence me to feel like a victim or whatever it may be, but just a sense of empowerment to use that perception to my advantage.
Yes.
So it's always been a
Use the perception to advantage. That would be interest there. He's got an interest statement from him, but ESTPs, ISTP, ENFJ, and INFJ are both interest focused.
Calculating thing for me to take those environments and use them to my advantage. To
take their environment and use them to my advantage. That's more of an SE manipulation there.
Whether it's Trojan horse situations, you know what I'm saying? That's, where you just, quietly move in, and next thing you know, it's, we all in here.
Totally. And
did he go through a progression? No, he didn't. He's outcome focused. This guy's outcome. So he's talking about end products. Did he go through that? It's like, well, Trojan horse, and last thing you know, we're all up in here. You jump from a Trojan horse to last thing you know, we all in here. That's outcome. So this guy is an outcome focus. We already have 4 points for outcome. So ESTP, ISTP, INFJ are eliminated. He is between ESTP or ENFJ. Okay. And that's because the golden metric more is about outcome versus progression when you're looking at people. Not so much as direct versus not direct, responding versus initiating. You really want to find out, are they talking about end products or are they talking about the progression of things? That will let you know more than anything, because there is some type of thing to interviews, whatnot, but direct versus outcome. Not direct versus outcome. Progression versus outcome cannot be confused. So it's looking like this guy is either ESTP or ENFJ. Even though he hasn't really initiated that much, I haven't really called him changing it that much, but I may have missed things. But yeah.
And and there has to be the verse, right? There has to be the version that gets us there and can create more space for more people. I know 2020, of course, was a watershed moment for everyone. You were super active in all the protesting. Tell me 3 ways 2020 changed you.
3 ways 2020 changed me. I think and this is, probably a cliche one. I think it made me realize the importance of time and family. Mm-hmm. Being able to really spend time. I'm an uncle now, so whatever. So
Uncle Mike.
Uncle Mike. My sister.
They say there's nothing like that, niece nephew love. It's just different.
It's different.
Yeah.
And I never experienced that before. So, being able to
love that.
Change diapers and be around and be present.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good. I've actually had great experiences with changing diapers. My sister's actually a little pissed that. I've gotten the light diapers all the time.
Yeah.
Literally, I've missed every blowout.
There's not a lot of poop in the diaper. Yeah.
What? I'm like, oh, you care about me, my guy. What's up, my guy? He's cool.
He's like, I'm not gonna do this. It's Uncle Mike's day. I'll hold it for tomorrow.
Yeah. Mom gave me corn yesterday. I was like, relax, bro. Chill.
Oh my gosh, have you gotten thrown up on?
Yes.
Okay.
I've got some throw up. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I deserved that one. That was me. But no, he's awesome, and I never knew I could love something so much that I never had a chance to meet. Literally before I even met him, it was like, oh my God, I can't wait.
Oh, I love it.
And so I think family.
Okay.
Spending time. I think that was something I definitely learned from 2020. I've always been an introvert and kind of being good with being by myself. So I think it was just reinforcing, just sitting still, and getting back to meditating and just resetting, because last few years before that it's been a nonstop thing. And I was telling myself that after this next project I'm gonna take a break for a couple of years, and I'm gonna just work on. I'm gonna live. I'm gonna try.
Have you ever taken a break?
No.
I didn't think so.
No.
But it's a thing that you tell yourself to feel better.
Yes. I wanted to live life. Instead of just watching it. You know what I mean? I
wanted to live life. That's SEN now instead of watching it.
And I also wanted to experience more things so I could have more things to pull from in my work. I think
interesting.
There's levels to it. There's to be able to, you got to see more so you can, you could talk about more and have organic places that
you got to see more so you can talk about more. More of an SE perspective.
Experience, So that was something that, obviously with everything else that couldn't happen as much, but it And then, so wanted to take a break, but then I think during quarantine, my mind and appetite changed, and it actually made me more hungry and focused and driven. So coming out of when things started to open back up, I had an energy and just like that I haven't had before. So, I think way more determined.
I know you care so much about your family. I know you care so much about your legacy. People that have money, right? At some point, things shift from, I want to be rich, to, I want my family to be rich, to, I want my family that isn't even alive yet to be rich.
Progression.
How much of a focus is generational wealth for you?
You've been doing your homework. So these are...
I'm always ready.
These are thought out. No, these are good. I think about it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think about it a lot. I think, breaking that vicious cycle of having to start over and over and over, knowing, the family stories, the family history of, what the holidays meant to a family of like what debt, trying to meet this, making sure, kids aren't left out and this and that and, doing what we can and how that just compiles, debt. And that's just one area, you know what I'm saying, of like the system that kind of...
But he's talking about outcomes like crazy. He's talking about outcomes. This guy is talking about outcomes. He's not talking about progression. I want to see maybe, a lot of what I've noticed is a lot of with him being TIFE, outcome, SENI, direct, interest, and he has said some TE statements. So it's looking more like he is an ESTP instead of enfj.
It keeps us, oppressed in a lot of ways, especially financially.
Yeah.
Outcome.
So
And in some ways by design.
Not even, and almost always by design.
Yeah.
And the education around that and lack thereof. So I know I'm learning things for the first time that a lot of my family hasn't had the opportunity to be exposed to. Mm-hmm. So
I'm learning things that the rest of my family hasn't even been exposed to. The outcome, the end product. It's got the end
knowing
product.
that and not caring about it, I think, is irresponsible. So
knowing that and not.
There's a motivation of I want these nice things, or I want to be comfortable. But it also comes in as like, I can't even enjoy this comfort if my family's not straight. Like, what do I look like living here, feeling like this, having these things?
It would mean nothing.
If they don't have that and are able to share these experiences with me. And then it trickles down
to experiences
to the bigger picture of like, when I do have kids, when I do have, grandchildren and this and that. And, how do I make sure that they don't have to burden the things that I've had to experience growing up and starting over and having, just all those things.
Obviously, money is to buy things at its base. But what does having money signify?
It seemed a little abstract there. I'll give him that because he's talking about the future. I'll give him a point for abstract there.
For you. Does that make sense? What does that mean to your life, to your family's life, to be able to have it?
Giving us options.
Yeah, freedom. Yeah.
He likes freedom. That's pragmatic. He likes options. Okay, that's pragmatic. Okay, and the reason why is because a few of the people like roles to be given, as in pragmatic people like freedom to choose, because it allows them to be more effective. Okay, because they're independent, they're contrarians, they tend to be rebellious. They like the freedom to choose. So he likes freedom. So it's looking like maybe this guy's ESTP.
Money signifies, in the basic sense of just options and access and opportunity.
You mentioned growing up. Tell me,
just straight facts there. That's TI. That's pure facts.
Obviously, the Invesco QQQ Classic is in Newark.
Yep.
Tell me about your Newark.
My Newark, my brick city. Now that's why it was really important to have, the Legacy Classic there, at Prudential Center, places that I've been to growing up, wanting to be an example, for the community and the kids there that, okay, cool,
Want to be example. It's more FE.
That we're bringing it back to, our roots, so to speak. I mean, my Newark is, it was fun, from
community. I can put a point for affiliative on that as well. That was a affiliative statement. Community, whatnot.
Hooping in the park, to, taking the path over to the city for auditions, to, taking the bus home from school.
Outcome. From doing this to this to this. End product. Outcome. This guy's outcome.
High school parties, you know what I'm saying? Hit squad parties and street team.
High school party, hit squad parties, end product. This guy is out.
Okay.
Just the whole, what that meant was everything,
Yeah. A lot of great people from Newark too. Whitney Houston.
Okay, so let me just make sure you guys are following me. If he is outcome and direct, that means he could only be ENFJ, ENFJ, ESTJ, ENTJ, and ESTJ. ESTJ, ENFJ, ENTJ, and ESTP. So he has to be one of the charge types because he's direct and outcome. Okay, I know he's not really initiating much here, but he's one of these four. With that being said, because he's direct and outcome, he's looking at the end product, and it's like literally in your face, outcome. Michael B. Jordan, you are outcome. You're TIFE user. And
Newark? I believe Shaq was born in Newark.
Shaq's born in Newark too, yeah.
Is Queen Latifah from Newark?
Queen Latifah's from Newark.
Okay, yeah. So y'all producing them. I'm not saying it's like Gwinnett County.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's don't play me.
No.
Gwinnett County's in Georgia. Okay. Everybody coming from out there.
Okay, cool.
We got songs about at the north. Just a little something. It is what it is. But Newark is a great spot. I've been there a bunch. But I think that people kind of have an idea of what places are, but it's just like this blip on the map. They don't like really know what a place is like.
No, she's talking about from a TE perspective. She's a TEFI user.
When I think about, there's basketball player Jalen Green. He was just drafted. He's from Fresno.
Name drop TE.
California. People hear California. They're like, oh, this is probably some cute little town. He's like, no, Fresno.
Yeah.
Fresno, we're not playing with you. Fresno is a thing, and there are parts of Newark that are the exact same way.
1,000%.
Yeah, and I don't really know if they're just like New Jersey, it's near New York, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Newark is, we got a little chip on our shoulder, I think.
Totally.
I think growing up, being next to a city like Manhattan, New York, gives you the little brother complex a little bit. It's like, yeah, what you talk about? No, we just as good. We ain't got no sales tax on clothes. Y'all be coming over here shopping all the time. It's like we're very proud of the things that we that we have and is known for, but it makes us scrappy and it makes us determined.
Totally.
I think going, West New York or Weehawken and looking over at the skyline and seeing the city, seeing those big buildings and what that represents.
Seeing that, see what it represents.
Oh, I got to get there one day. I want a piece of that. I think it gives you a motivation and a drive a bit. But Newark is, it's tough. It was hard for sure, but it's got a lot of promise and a lot of talent, and a lot of opportunity there as well. It just the timing. I think it needs people to reinvest, back in, pour back into the city.
And I think to reinvest.
There's places like the Fresnos.
Outcome. This guy's outcome. Okay, we're done. This guy's concrete.
And the Newarks and, all these little places that are, throughout the country that, produce talent and people that, kind of somehow.
So we were down to ESTP, ENFJ, and he is not using any abstractions. He had one earlier where he was talking about the future for his kids and whatnot, but besides that, he has said nothing abstract at all. And the reason why that was abstract is kind of future focused, but majority of his speech has been grounded in reality. Sorry to say it. Okay, so with him being concrete, that automatically eliminates ENFJ. Okay, so Michael B. Jordan is an ESTP. What we noticed on very early is that Michael B. Jordan is direct. Okay, that means he's specific, concise, to the point. He's not wordy. He's not descriptive. He's not giving extra details. He's not giving extra content. He's not taking a passive role. He's not taking a one down role. He says what he means what he says. So that eliminated A types, just being direct. Okay, what we notice also of that is he's an SENI user. Okay, so that eliminated types as well with him being direct, SENI. That eliminated the ESTJ, the STJs. So you will be looking at an STP, NTJ, or NFJ. Okay. And then when we notice that he's a TIFE user, he has his own internal logical framework that he references. He's not talking about outside sources or what other people think. He's not using any sources or anything or references or any points like that. So, and he's not talking about his achievements or anything. If anything, he downplays all his achievements. He's a very humble guy. So that's like that uses a TIFE thing. And he cares about helping people, building people up, making sure that people are better than where they came at. That's why he's talking about HBCUs and things like that. So that's a TIFE thing. So with him being TIFE, that eliminates the NTJs, either STP or NFJ. Okay, and then on top of that, he's outcome focused. That means he talks about the end product. He's not talking about the progression of how to or how things flow. He's just giving you like end product, end product, end product, end product. So with that being said, he's an ESTP or ENFJ, and primarily his speech is concrete, just being straight facts. We got one pragmatic statement. He's talking about freedom. We may have missed some there, but freedom is usually tied to pragmatic people. They need freedom to choose. It is what it is. It's utilitarian mindset. Independent. They're not talking about interdependent, things like that. But he's concrete, and because he's concrete, that go ahead and puts him down as an ESTP, and they had him as an ESFP. That's a joke. ESFPs are informative, so they're ridiculous. They can just talk and give extra words or whatnot. He's not doing that. That would be eliminated. He's also outcome focused. ESFPs are progression focused, so they talk about how things move from one thing to the next. They talk about the journey. He's not really talking about the journey. He's just looking at the end product, the outcome. So yeah, personality database, you got this one wrong, and you need to be drug tested. Calling this man an ESFP, that is fucking nuts. Drug test him, really. ESFP, Michael B. Jordan, very humble guy. Don't see it, but that's Mongolian Mindset, and we are out, and it was a pleasure.